Awesome work, my dude. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got. He thought he was gonna be able to beat me on the ground, and I told MattieC that I was coming here to take no L's. And if you got a problem with that, 1-800, call my bluff, baby.
Ooh. You heard it here.
On this team, we fight for that itch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that itch.
Coming in at 320 kilobytes per second, it's time for MattieC's Sports for you and me.
All right, everybody, MattieC Sports, pretty much tearing up the Lozon crew. We got this guy right here, the Gladiator, Andrew Valdina. How you doing this afternoon, brother?
Doing good, man. I'm just chilling. I just got home from some training a little while ago, jumped in the pool outside, and now I'm here talking to MattieC.
I love it. That's the best answer I've heard on my show. So I hear you're now getting into the announcing game and fighting. So what's that like?
It was cool. I didn't even know I was going to do it until like a few days before. I wasn't like trying to get into commentating or anything like that, but Mike Pulver reached out and said, hey, this is like the one card you haven't been a part of, in the cage in the past, like 5 or 6 cards. Like, I still want you to be a part of this Cage Titans event. Are you interested in commentating? And immediately I was like, oh, fuck yeah. You kidding me? Like, why would I say no to that? That's unreal. And it was cool. Got my feet wet. And if I did a good enough job, I hope they bring me back. I loved it.
And so, like you said, legit, like you have, ever since I've gone to Cage Titans, which was 49, I've seen you every time. Like you said, you've been on multiple cards and multiple wars in the cage, and you pretty much have a cult following at Cage Titans. So what's it like where you just come there and everybody pretty much knows who you are, and like how like relaxing it is and sort of calmness with you to be in a crowd where people just love you and adore you there?
I mean, obviously, I'm so appreciative of that and stuff, of all the support that I get. And, it first started out with me already having a very good, good family support, good friends that, come to all my fights and stuff like that. But then, the more I fought 5 or 6 in a row, I think I started to win them over with the way I fight, the way I present myself, the way I get the crowd fucking going, whether they like what I do or they don't like what I'm doing, everyone's starting to really get an eye out on me, which is a great thing. So I'm so appreciative of everybody that always comes out and wants to watch me go, and it gets me going. So I love it.
I know for me that being in the media in those events it's a good show you put on and it's not just a show. You put the dedication in and the time in, and it's easy to find the highlights of Andrew Valdina on your stories and stuff. So
yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
And who won the battle, you and Tyler at Lozon with the pita bread?
Oh man, dude, we had the best one. All right, so like first, Joe Lozon went with this one of our media girls that also does jiu-jitsu there, Nicole. And, they had a good one here and there, it was all right. But then me and Tyler stepped up to the plate with the tortillas, and we went smacking for home run derby season. Like we were smacking each other hard, and honestly, by the end of it all, the tortillas just broke in both our hands. We both had water in our mouths, but we were ready for another 5 or 6 rounds. You kidding me? It was hilarious. It was hilarious.
I think 6 come in a pack.
Oh, we had so many people going though. We had so there was only one tortilla left after we went, and it can't be a one-sided war,
And with you stuck with Cage Titans since Cage Titans 44. So I mean, this is pretty much your home, and there's a lot of you out there. Johnny, Zach DiSabatino, Peter, list goes on. I mean, how do you feel like being a part of just that community? I mean, you guys seem like just your own representatives in yourself.
So again, I'm so grateful for the Cage Titans community. Every single staff, worker, employee that's a part of it is friggin' like family at this point. You know what I mean? It's they're just the greatest friendships have been formed from fighting for them. I can't speak about other promotions. I haven't been a part of them yet, but I can honestly say I have no regrets whatsoever. Choosing Cage Titans as my first in every fight so far. They just support their fighters so well. They make us all feel like we're freaking UFC fighters walking out in the whole event, the whole kit and caboodle. So I'm just grateful for every part of it. Their Cage Titans is the best New England organization I can say.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, walkouts and stuff, I have to say, for you probably have the best acrobatic entrances in all the game at Cage Titans. It's I feel like you practice that before you come in. Do I do a backflip? Do I do cartwheel? Do I literally flip in the air? It's crazy. How do you? It's amazing how you think of stuff right on the spot.
No, I mean, every single time I go in there, I'm going to do that cartwheel. Sometimes I do it one-handed. Sometimes I do both hands. I mean, it's always that's the last minute decision I make. It's one-handed or two-handed right now. I don't know. But I mean, regardless, it's just my thing I like to do. And it might not be this effective, whatever. But in my head, I always put it in my head, the reason I do the cartwheel is not for the showmanship, whatever. It's more so if it's already one feat that I'm accomplishing is doing a complete cartwheel before the fight starts. So now I've already accomplished something before my opponent has. And that's just in my head, boom, I'm already ahead for some reason, but something little.
Facts. So, I mean, what got you into all this, into MMA and all that?
So, growing up, I was always the little kid, I was always undersized compared to all my other friends and, kids in school. And, I'd be wrong if I said I wasn't bullied from here and there, like the average high school boy and shit like that before 7th, 8th grade. And just because I was just a lot smaller. And so then I started wrestling, and I also picked up Taekwondo because I wanted just to learn how to defend myself. And, I ended up getting my black belt from Taekwondo. I fell in love with it. I did that for a few years, and then I went into wrestling. I fell in love with wrestling more than anything in the world. Did 4 years of that in high school, then did 4 years of that in college. And what segued into MMA was my head coach for wrestling in college, Frank Camisa. He actually corners Joe Lozon for his UFC fights. And, he's always at Lozon MMA, helping Joe out. And one time I actually needed to cut weight, and the gyms were closed. He said, all right, come with me to Lozon's. So I went with my head coach to Lozon MMA, and just to cut weight there, use his sauna and see the environment there, immediately fell in love with it. I got hooked just by the sight of it. And so I told myself right after, college wrestling was over, I need to do something. I can't stop like the combat sport grind. So I went right into MMA, and I'm so happy. I never look back or anything like that. It's the best decision I ever made was joining Lozon MMA.
So when you're in your wrestling days, I probably wouldn't be able to survive your sweep. That's probably the only thing I learned from my 2-day tryout in wrestling back in the day.
Oh yeah.
That was my only combat, and it was taking the sweeps. The guy at what was his weight? I was 164 at the time, and he was 170. Immediately taken down. And then my high school history teacher was a coach, and he says, "How do you like it?" I said, "Well, I'm never coming back again."
Oh man. Well, what do you expect? You going on the mats after like 2 days experience, whatever you said. I mean, obviously you're gonna get taken down,
Right.
I hear you. That's funny.
Very technical sport. And so I was a hockey player too. So
nice.
the biggest thing for sports at Weymouth is hockey, football, and wrestling was huge because they were state champs most of the time. And the funny thing is that like they called this weight room the dungeon. So the guy who runs it there, he got into the Football Hall of Fame and stuff like that. And
oh wow,
it's just an amazing like facility. And I'm sure it's better back in the old high school. It was an old rundown dungeon, really was. But
I'm sure that atmosphere was probably unreal.
And the thing that's unreal about it is that like you look at different fighters and you see their kind of resume, and you see that they're state wrestling champs or national champs, and you're like, oh shit, like they're for real. They have more experience with not just wrestling but jiu-jitsu or whatever they're into. But I mean, I'm glad you fell in love with the sport because like I said, you're a big topic here in Plymouth area and Cage Titans. So I mean, with the fights you've had have been absolutely like unbelievable, whether you win or lose. And I know we were talking at Cage Titans about Siegfried Stevens and when you fought him, and it wasn't a bad fight for you. I just knew that it wasn't what game you wanted to play, but then you take it to where you fought Arthur Mupofu, and I thought that was one of the heaviest, best fights of the year. Even though it wasn't the result you wanted, you guys, I was like, I don't know who's going to go down right now. It was one of the best fights going. So
yeah, I was sick.
I mean, and you guys have a mutual respect, right? You and Arthur.
Oh yeah. Anybody I share that cage with, I'm always going to respect, win or lose, or draw, like especially that 5-round war that me and Arthur had. Of course, I'm going to respect that kid. That kid brings the heat.
I feel like that was one of the fights you broke off from, like, I was like, damn. And I was told about you way before, and I was like, damn, he really shows his shit. Like, he knows what he's doing. So, I mean, are you going to stay AMI for a while?
It's up in the air, man. I'm not really sure what's next. I'm still like talking to my coaches. All I'm really focused on right now is just staying in the gym, fixing holes, and just getting myself better. I've done since the Siegfried fight. I know I say this after every single fight, but I really do get better so much faster and so much more than I believe than the average fighter after their fights and stuff. And it's because I dedicate so much of my time to it. And it's like there's really not much of a day where I'm not training. So that's what I'm going to do until my next fight, whenever that may be. I'm kind of looking towards October right now. I'm not sure if it's AMI, not sure if it's pro. I might take one or two more AMIs or just go. I'm not sure. It's up in the air.
Either way, it's bound to be a good fight. And with that, do you plan on branching out? I mean, I know local stuff. I know Combat FC is around and CES and stuff, but I respect that about a high percentage of you guys stick with Cage Titans. And I know the other promotions have different agendas and stuff like that. But I mean, is your allegiance pretty much to Cage Titans pretty much?
Well, yeah, obviously I've had all my fights, so the allegiance is definitely there with Cage Titans, but I'm definitely not opposed to branching out into other organizations. I think it actually might be a smart move to, have a few fights in other organizations. So I'm not just used to one, it's great that I'm so used to Cage Titans, right? I get the routine every single time I go there. I know exactly what to do, when things are going to happen, when to walk out, all this different stuff. And I have it down pat. More than most of my opponents, I think I'll have it down pat at Cage Titans. But having said that, now it's like, okay, if I go to another organization and that's my first fight, I'm just not going to have that like routine down. I'm not opposed to CES in the future. or Combat FC. Combat FC, that's Northern Mass. That's where I'm from. You know, Wilmington. That's where they hold the fights at the Shriners. And I'm a town over from there. So if I went to Combat FC, oh man, I'm gonna pack that motherfucker. I'll tell you that much.
Not that you don't anyway. Yeah, I mean,
double it.
Yeah, I mean, the Combat FC is sort of up and coming. And, you know, how is it that you come all the way down here? And I know that just proves the dedication you have to come down to Lausanne, considering how far it is for you. You're in Drake, right?
Well, I'm originally from Drake. So when I went to Bridgewater State for college, I got apartments off campus in Bridgewater for school. But then I basically, it kind of, you know what, it makes me like appreciate what I've done a little bit, not to like pat myself on the back or anything like that. But like thinking about it, like I kind of have to leave my direct family for like majority of the weeks because I'm training down here. They're still they actually just moved to New Hampshire. So they're up, my whole family's up there and I'm down here dedicating myself to Lausanne, like training here at Lauzon's. And, you know, a good amount of the time I was just staying in my grandparents' house while they were living in Florida because they're snowbirds in the Cape. So I just know that it's all going to work out. And that's why I come down here to train, you know?
And, you know, what's it like training with, you know, Joe Lauzon, Peter, what's his name? I'll have to get back to you on that. I forgot his name.
Well, regardless.
What's it like training with all these guys? It seems like you guys have a brotherhood like nobody's business.
Yeah, it's great. We do. I mean, everybody there is family, you know. Training with Joe, seeing Joe get ready for his fights, and motivates all of us as fighters, you know, to really kick ourselves into gear and get ready for our own, or just train harder. Seeing Joe lay it all on the line for his upcoming fights, you know, and stuff like that. So, and Peter Barrett, after his fight that he just had with Jacob Bone, like seeing a war like that, oh my God, like I'm so happy.
That was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was sick. It was sick. And that just gets me going. Like, shit, I want to get back in that cage after seeing that. It's unreal.
Yeah, it was a crazy battle. And the thing I don't like about toward the end of each event in Cage Titans, it's like, why are you fucking people leaving? There's so many. I mean, granted, you know, I wouldn't say you were with me, but you were there where everybody like was waiting for the big fights. The main cards were sick. There was Zach DiSabatino and Spencer, Jacob and Peter, Joe Giannetti and Marcus. I mean, it was crazy. It was a crazy good card. And, you know, I know you saw the Amis and stuff, but goddamn, the Amis were good too.
Yeah, that card on July 2nd was probably like, I would say I'm clocking that in at top 3 best cards Cage Titans ever put together. It was a sick fucking card, you know, top to bottom.
Oh, absolutely. And it was just something that was, I mean, I go by Mike Paul Veer's saying, and it's absolutely true, because I said it in my own way, was that, you know, with the fights and stuff, there isn't the best card ever. There's always going to be another card, which, you know, there was great fights that night. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, there's always a greater card, but July 2nd card was unbelievable. And mixing it with Cage Titans 50, mixing it with Combat, Combat Night 3. It's just, Mike does an amazing job promoting. And, you know, like I said, even if you're not fighting, you're always there. So I respect that in its own.
Of course, I'm a fan of the fight game, man. If I'm not fighting, I will be there, you know, anytime I can. I love watching them. I love being a part of them.
And my person I was talking about was Mike Rodriguez.
Oh yeah, M-Rod. Yep. He's actually training over in Albuquerque, but he's back for the summer now, which is good. You know, Mike Rodriguez. He just came off a dub. Congrats to him, right? That was a sick finish.
CES. Yep. And he let his vocals be known that night. It was pretty funny stuff.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, all you guys are awesome, and you guys, you know, you guys don't really talk shit and, you know, go for that line of things. But It was funny. What was there anything said when you were posting up with Siegfried during the weigh-ins?
No, I don't think I said anything. I don't think he said anything back. I think we, I went up, did my flex, he flexed, and then when we faced off, I think we just got in each other's face. I went forehead to forehead, and I don't think anything was said. But then I tried to he caught on real quick. He's a good shit about this. I once we have to face forward and flex for the cameras, I try to step in front of him and do my own flex so the cameras can't see him. But then he got in front of me. It was pretty funny.
And that was good too when you got Arthur going, who it's impossible to really interview Arthur because Arthur is very quiet. But when he had Siegfried with him, he said, yeah, and a couple more sentences. So it was pretty funny. But
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so October, so you're just going to be straight training through that time?
Straight train. I haven't stopped, man. I haven't stopped. I don't plan on stopping either. If God willing, I keep my body in check. Everything's good. Everything's, ready to fire. I'm going to keep training nonstop every single day like I have been. I don't see any reason why not to. And when I do come back, every motherfucker that I step in front of is screwed. I'll stop swearing so much.
You can swear all you want. Have you known I talk to all these people? Everybody swears here and there. Or they can swear the whole they can swear the whole show. Oh, which actually funny. I meant I know we were talking about this, but do you constantly prank your dad with the hose from the sink and all that stuff?
I did get that TikTok on. I'm happy you saw it.
That was funny as shit.
It was funny. Me and my dad have a great relationship. He's one of my best friends. And he's my number one supporter through all of this. So so much love and respect for that guy. He's the man. But yeah, I do prank him here and there.
I did see the bond with you two. I mean, at the end of the fights, you guys were sitting together, and he was right behind you in the announcing stuff, and that's always a good thing to see behind the scenes. Nobody sees that, and that's good stuff. And I'm sure he pranked you back in the day too. So
of course, yeah.
So what's next for you? I mean, just October, or is there another goal besides? I always get every single MMA fighter, of course, their main goal most of the time is to go to UFC. Is there anything else you want to accomplish besides the UFC?
That's a good question. My main goal is 100% to be the absolute, best in the world someday. I don't know when it will happen, but that's what I train towards. And whether it's UFC or any other organization I go to, I want to know that, there's always gonna be someone that's tougher out there, blah, blah, blah. That's what keeps you going, keeps the fire in the belly to make you train harder, which I will always appreciate. But I want to be the best in the world, 100%. That's a fact. And I won't stop until I feel that I'm there. But since there's always someone tougher, I'm never going to be there. So I'm never going to stop. You kidding me? So be the best in the world, get to the highest point in any organization that I join, and make big bucks. I want my family to be very well off by the time all this is said and done. And even my my grandchildren at that point, I even have money for them. I want to have that type of money and to be at that level.
Much respect for that, man. Much respect. You seem just like me. I mean, being a family man comes first. And quote from The Godfather: if you can't take care of your family, you're not a man, not whatsoever. So I can appreciate that. So, so we're looking for you October. And how can everybody follow you?
Yeah. So my social medias. I got Instagram is my number one that I use. It just my full name at Andrew Valdina. My Twitter, I just made a Twitter. I believe it's Andrew_Valdina. And then my TikTok is at Andrew Valdina. And yeah, I think that's all I really want to give you guys. Facebook's more so for family, but if you shoot me a friend request and I know you, I'll accept you.
All right, that'll be the true test if you like me from the show.
Oh, I'll accept you. Of course.
So, Andrew, thank you so much for joining the show, and you're always welcome. I always, just like we talked about, you know, every single person that comes on my show, you're always welcome, and, you know, family first, and welcome to the family, of course. So I'm sure I'll be seeing you around Cage Titans, and if you people want to see this tough motherfucker, you go to Cage Titans. He's probably going to be there, and he'll be pimping in a suit. Did you end up getting your Cage Titans IPA that night?
No, I didn't end up drinking a single Cage Titans IPA, and I was very upset about it because I don't even know if I bought a single beer that night. Like, people kept coming up and they were like, "Oh, let me buy you a beer," and like I kept saying like, "Okay, sure." And then by the time I turned my head to tell them what I want, they already get me like a Bud Light or something. Like, they assume that's what I want. I wanted that IPA, God damn it! But of course I'm thankful for anything to give me. But yeah, I didn't get a single IPA that day.
I'll have to message Mike and say Valdina didn't get one. But you did get one from not Cage Gym. You got one from Rob Pico, didn't you?
Oh yeah, Rob Pico made me a Gladiator season IPA, which somehow, like, I talked to Rob and he said, yeah, like these next coming weeks are probably the last point you can actually drink them. And I had a couple over the past few weeks and they're still tasting good. So if you want, I got one for you, Matt.
Ooh, well, I'll have to take that up. Let's see who gets it to me first, Joe Giannetti or you?
On my way.
Well, you can drop it off on the way. I usually see Peter, so you can drop it off to him.
All right, sweet.
So yeah, thank you, Andrew. And of course, we'll be talking to you soon. And next opponent you face, they better be ready because the Gladiator's coming.
Damn right. That's a soundbite right there. You kidding me? Let's go. Thank you very much for having me on this. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you too. And everybody follow MattieC, of course. MattieC Sports with the number 4 for you and me. Catch this episode out. It'll be on audio. It'll also be on video. So thank you, Andrew, again, and we'll talk to you.
All right, man. I appreciate it again. Thank you.
All right, everybody, signing out.
Thanks for watching MattieC Sports for you and me. Make sure to follow Matty Cameron on Twitter at MattCameron23 or follow him on Instagram at MattieC23 or subscribe to his YouTube channel, MattieC Sports for you and me. Once again, thanks for watching.